Tupac. I'm here sitting on the TST network with Billy. He's Tupac's cousin.
SytonniaLIVE.
We're putting it all out there.
Yeah, SytonniaLIVE.
You know, I was thinking one thing that's going to be missing from this upcoming film is the authenticity of Afeni Shakur.
Word.
Like, you can't, you know, you can hire someone to play her
that's irreplaceable.
for what you think was her, but the real story, again, is left to the family to tell and expose and bring us into that picture. You've got some pretty interesting stories where Afeni is concerned.
Man, God bless her. And look, there's a big void in that movie because Afeni, like I already said, never participated in that movie. So the actress that's portraying her only have information that she read. She never spoke to Afeni to get any tips on how to portray her, any insight or nothing, you know. So she pretty much was on her own. But, you know, Afeni, man, was a very, very important part of my life and a very, very important part of all of my family's life. She was a pillar in our family. She was like a matriarch, sort of like my mother. We come from a matriarchal family. You know, like we did, my mother remarried a man that was great and a great father. So maybe I shouldn't say matriarchal because my father played a huge role in our household. But collectively, right. But we, you know, I had a very unique relationship with Afeni. Man, you know, like how many kids can say that their auntie was their first school teacher? You know, Afeni was my first school teacher. Literally, she taught my whole kindergarten class. You know, the story behind that is going to be in the film. I don't want to give too much of that up, right? But she also got my first attorney. In your film. In my film. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Very, very unique way that happened, you know. And I can't wait till people understand and see how that unfolded. She was my first, she got my first attorneys, you know, when I got in trouble at 16. You know, she got some attorneys and they got me out of jail. So she was always this brilliant woman. She always had my back. About that cause, yeah. She always had my back, right? The first pistol I ever saw was hers. Oh, stop it. I went in her drawer. She was about it, though. I mean, she's a Black Panther. Yeah, so. I went inside her drawer and there it was. Wow, I was probably about 7 years old. Wow. God damn, a gun. Good God, right? The first job I ever got, she got for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When I was 18, she got me my first job. And the first, she made me beat up my first bully. Okay, so I've heard like bits and pieces of this bully story. Yeah. What happened? Well, man, this bully used to terrorize me, man. And he used to whoop my ass every day. His name was Junebug. He was from Detroit. And he was a tough looking nigga. Like, he looked menacing, you know? Yeah. He looked like scary. He was fat. He had always dry snot around his lips. Made him look dangerous, like a stray like dog. Like a character. Like a rabid, like he was rabid. Dog. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was scared to death of this dude, right? And one day he beat me up. He put it on me. No tissues or nothing. Yeah, nothing to wipe. No tissues or nothing, Jesus. Like nobody to wipe that shit off of him. Like no motherly touch or nothing. You know, he was just out there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so, that's funny. I don't mean to laugh, but that's kind of funny. Right, he looked like that every day. Yeah. One day he put it on me, beat me up, and sent me home. And Fanny happened to be there when I came in crying. And she was like, "What you crying about? What happened?" And I said, "Oh, he beat me up. Somebody beat me up." She said, "Who?" And she didn't even wait for me to answer. She just turned my ass around and said, "If you don't go out there and whoop his ass, whoever he is, I'm gonna whoop your ass." And I didn't want an ass whooping from a family. That shit was brutal. Like her ass whoopings was like. She didn't play. Yeah, like oh man, it was brutal, and I didn't want that. So she went outside with me to find this guy. He was still standing right where I left him, and she made me whoop his ass. And I got the heart, strength, and energy inspired by her to actually beat this guy down. Yeah. And like I must have did heavy work to him because the police came. Somebody called the cops. Right. And they came to break it up. And Fanny wouldn't let them break it up. She told them, "Leave me alone. They better not touch me." I made him whoop his ass. Let him finish whooping his ass. And true as day, cops didn't touch me.
They just stood back.
And they just stood there and let me finish beating the boy up. And I whooped his ass, and I never had a problem out of him or nobody in that neighborhood again.
Did you give him a tissue when y'all were finished?
I should have. I should have gave him some gauze because he was bleeding.
He needed a whole lot of things,
he needed a whole lot of work done. But I left that bleeding right there.
Yeah.
And thanks to her, man, you know, I got my respect. And, you know, that was a meaningful lesson in my life, you know, a very impressionable lesson. And that taught me a lot about just being a survivor.
Yeah.
You know, and that was my first test.
Now,
God bless her.
We used to hear about Tupac getting into a lot of fights. Was there any truth to that? Did he fight a lot? Or?
Yeah, because he fought a lot. Yo, so he used to fight like all the kids in our neighborhood because he was in the martial arts, because Metula was in the martial arts, and a fight was an opportunity to show his
and Metula
new
was
skills.
His stepfather, right?
Yeah, Metula, his stepfather, right. And Metula would take him to the dojo and train him in martial arts. So every time Tupac had a fight, it would give him an opportunity to show the skills he just learned. So he always stayed in a fight. But the person that always whooped his ass was my sister Moo.
Oh, stop it.
My sister Moo used to whoop his ass every day. He couldn't beat Moo.
Was she a martial arts specialist?
No, she was just a town boy.
She just had those hands,
yeah,
right?
she was just a town boy from the Bronx, you know? And they were tight, you know, but when they fought, you know, she always got the best of him. Well, Pac had a lot of heart ever since he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, he always had a lot of heart, and he always, you know, he was fearless, you know? He would be scared, but he would be scared after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Or he would be scared.
Once he probably realized what just happened,
right.
like it sets in.
But he always found a way to work through the fear, I guess. And that's not found in a lot of people. A lot of people are stifled by fear.
Yeah.
You know, or they stuck by fear. You know, they're paralyzed by fear. You hear that a lot, right? You hear that metaphor a lot. You paralyzed by fear. But Pac, instead of being paralyzed, he will work through that fear and get the job done. He always did.
A lot of people might think, oh, well, the family's so against this film because they didn't produce it. They don't have anything to do with it. So just to be clear, you guys will reap benefits.
Oh, yeah.
Either way you slice it.
Right.
So that's not the point of why.
Not at all. Like, I'm really hurting us financially because I'm not supposed to say anything, right? If I don't have nothing good to say, I'm not supposed to say anything because we're going to benefit from it.
Right.
You know, we have a deal in place. So, of course, you know, the family's going to benefit from it, but that's not the point. The point is
the family didn't.
Yeah, we didn't support it. You know, we stood against it, and we wanted to make a statement in unity, in unison, because we wanted to have more participation in the way this story was going to be told. And they never acknowledged us during the storytelling part of this production. They never acknowledged our participation. They never granted us any respect. You know, they never asked us anything. You know, they just totally separated us from this project. And what came out of it is something that we can't stand by. Yeah. We can't stand on that shit. You know what I'm saying?
So
we can't stand on it.
To the art of storytelling, what is the difference between All Eyes on Me and the film that you plan on releasing soon?
The difference is telling. The difference is as different as night and day. The story that I'm telling is a very unique story from my perspective. It has a lot to do with my character and personality as well as Tupac's. It has a lot to do with our life together, the stuff that we went through together. You know, a lot of it is the story is about him, but it's told from my point of view. So there's a lot of me in the story. And then I created a profile who I think killed Tupac. So the profile that I created, I tell his story also. And Pac's story I tell from the beginning to the end, as well as the profile that I created. I tell his story from the beginning till they meet in Vegas on that fateful night, September 7th, 1996. So it's two stories in one, and it's two parallel stories that start with their births and ends with Tupac's death. And really it's a juxtaposition of what can happen to any black man in America. You know, any black man could have been a Tupac Shakur. And any black man could have been an Orlando Anderson or whoever I portrayed as the killer. You know, that's just the way we come up in this country. You know, we either come up as killers or we come up as successful, you know.
Of course, for those who don't know, Orlando Anderson was the guy who he had gotten into the altercation with in the hotel after the fight. And they alleged that he had actually pulled the trigger to kill Tupac. And he was killed, what, a year or two or something like that afterwards?
Yeah, right after Pac. He was killed maybe less than 2 years after Pac in a drug deal going bad in Los Angeles. And he always denied it, but, you know, a lot of people believe that he had a lot to do with it. I tend to believe that he didn't kill Pac because I got information from very reliable people.
Even if we let Suge Knight tell his story, he's saying that Orlando Anderson didn't kill Pac.
Right.
So I think we can weed him out altogether, you know?
Right. So that's not how the story is portrayed. The way I portrayed it is, like I said, I created a profile of who did it. That profile is not really Orlando Anderson's profile. It's just a profile of who I created that tells the story of who I think actually killed Pac. So I tell his story just like I tell Pac's story.
Right.
So it's a little bit of fiction in the story, but it's fiction in the right place, and it's fiction just for the sake of storytelling. You know what I'm saying? Something new, something unique in telling a biopic. While Pac's side of the story is totally true, the killer's side of the story is a fictionalized creation of what I wrote.
And of course you're keeping it fictional because to this day, realistically, lawfully, they still have not arrested anyone in Tupac or Biggie's death.
Exactly.
Let me ask you before we wrap up this segment, who do you think killed Biggie?
I really don't know. I can only speak on what I read. And I read...
do you think it was in retaliation to what happened?
It makes sense that it would be in retaliation, yes. There's a lot of... To me, there's a lot of truth to what is alleged could be in retaliation, you know? And, yeah, I think so. I definitely think that Big was killed as a consequence of Pac being murdered.
And with the loss of those two stars, what do you think that,
I think we lost.
Did that affect
man,
the game?
I wish that would have never happened. I swear to God, I think about that every day. That's like hip-hop's nightmare. You know, that's our nightmare that we have to live with for the rest of our lives. And it really just indicates how, you know, how precious life is and how it's important for black men not to be so quick to kill each other, you know? And it's just a lot of commentary that can go with that, with those two deaths. I can write about that all day, all night. Yeah. And it's just hard to talk about.
Like, they're so young.
Yeah.
And when you really look at it from, I mean, Pac was what, on his 4th album? Biggie was on, what, his 2nd?
And what's really crazy is that if they had a chance to talk, that would have been squashed. Because all Pac wanted to do, really, and he told me this on many occasions, was give Biggie a one-on-one. Yeah. He just wanted to fight him one-on-one, man-to-man, mano-mano. You know what I'm saying? That's all he wanted. And once, because like I said, he never held a grudge. Pac wasn't a grudgeful, vengeful type of guy. You know, once he got it off his chest, that's what it was, and that's where it stayed.
Did Pac really mess with Faith, or was that just a rumor?
Pac never lied on his
Okay.
There you go.
That's as plain as you can put it.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put
it. And no need to, really. No need to, really,
yeah, Pac, you know, he just wasn't that kind of guy. You know, he didn't lie on his so there's no reason for me not to think that didn't happen. Right. But out of respect to Faith, you know, I never want to try to exploit that, you know, because, you know, she never done anything wrong. She ain't had nothing to do with it.
And you never know what was going on in
Right.
her
Who
house
knows,
and,
you know?
what the situation
And
may
also,
have
she
been.
has children, man. I respect her life, and I salute her. You know, she has been nothing but a great example to young black women.
Absolutely.
You know? And God bless her. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No disrespect to Faith at all.
So when we come back, we're going to give people an outlook on how they can stay in touch with the movement, different things you have going on, and the time frame in which we can expect to see your film come out.
Yes.
And why you shouldn't see All Eyes on Me. So don't move. We'll be right
Okay, yeah, let's get to that. Right on.
All right, Sytonia here with the TST Network, about to wrap things up with Billy.
Right.
Tupac's cousin in the building. Of course, All Eyes on Me coming out soon. And why, I mean, you don't want to take anything away from anyone. Of course, you've made that clear.
Right.
But at the same time, it's also been heavily established that the family does not support this film or has anything to do with it.
Right.
Why should people see it? Why should they not see it?
Well, let's put it this way. I will answer this question like this. I think that if you're a fan of Tupac Shakur and you want to participate, or no, if you are a fan of Tupac Shakur and you want to get, you want to see a story that you probably already know, go see the movie. I'm not going to encourage no one to not go see it. You know, I don't want to do that. I've done that already. And I think that was a mistake when I did it before. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I'm not going to continue to do it.
Right.
So right now, I'm just going to say, I'm going to leave it up to the fans. If you want to see it, you know, be my guest. Go see it. We all have a right to do what the hell we want to do.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you and disrespect your intelligence by telling you not to go see it. You know, you go see it if you want to go see it. If you want to support it, support it. On the other hand, I don't intend to see it until it comes out on Comcast or until it comes out on HBO. Not even DVD. I'm not going to pay for it.
Wait.
I'll pay for it when it comes out on HBO in my subscription because I already got HBO. So I'll pay for it when it comes out on HBO. But like I said, I'm not going to discourage any fan from going to see it. If you want to see it, be my guest, and God bless you, you know. And thank you, because we do get a piece of that. You know,
right. So. And so, of course, if you want to see it, you can see it. Yeah. And if you want the full story.
Yo, if you want to see a story that is entertaining, creatively sound, very entertaining, very unique, authentic, you know, just, you know, expect to see my story. Also, you know, we also in the process of creating a series that's going to chronicle Afeni's life and the Shakur tribe and where that came from, and Afeni's era with the Black Panther Party, the era of the Civil Rights Movement, J. Edgar Hoover, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, that whole entire era, that American history that is not too much portrayed on television or in the theaters. But we're going to give it to you from Afeni's lifestyle and from the lifestyle of the Black Panther Party, which is a very, very part of our history, very, very important story to tell. And I wrote a pilot about that, and we're in the process of shopping that story right now. So that story will see the light of day soon, hopefully also. So we're going to actually franchise the story of my family's contribution to civil rights and my family's contribution to music, you know, and I can't wait, man, because there's a lot that you guys are going to know about, and you're going to get a good, in-depth peek of what we went through as children growing up, and, you know, it's just a very, very important story to tell, and I can't wait till you guys see it, really.
Well, I think you're, you know, very brave, and what you're doing is commendable. Like, I mean, somebody's got to tell the real story, and somebody's got to keep the legacy going.
Thank you.
And there's so much to it and so many layers to it, and I think that with what you're doing, we probably, you know, 20, 30 years down the line, we will actually have it all.
Yeah, we will.
From the perspective of him and his mother. Yeah. And just the Shakur, that whole, just the whole being of it.
Right, man.
Because it's so deep. It's so many layers.
Yeah, and I gotta, can I say this? Like, to the fans, right? You know, you won't know anything about Tupac until you learn who Afeni Shakur was. And once you learn who Afeni Shakur was and what she was to us and what she was to her son and her daughter, then you'll get a better perspective of who Tupac Shakur is and who he was. And that's what's missing out of this film. There's no correct perspective of Afeni's existence. The only thing that they're showing is Afeni's minimal life when she used drugs. You know, that seems to be the only part of their story, of her story. Man, forget about it. Man, that was
a piece.
That was like a very small piece, and even at that time,
sensationalized piece.
Even at that time, she was still an exceptional human being. Like, you know, people might get the visualization of Afeni being some drug addict that was compromising, you know, who was strung out at all times, you know, walking around unkept. No, Afeni was a boss.
I think he summed it up in his song "Dear Mama." It's
like,
you know,
I mean,
completely.
seriously.
And then you have to look at this woman like to do what she did with his estate and just everything afterwards.
Wow.
Like it just lets you know what
where she really
kind of woman this woman was. The intelligence, she's so profound. The history there, like she really stepped up like a warrior and showed people exactly who she is, who her son is and was. And there's so much more for us to learn from
that woman, man, she was so influential in my life. Like, she was our hero, man. I mean, she was a star.
The way,
literally.
I mean, my gosh, it's so funny because months ago I was catching up on some documentaries that have been done because his story is just one of those, like, people will keep telling it until they get the full story.
Really?
And to see what he had when he died versus what she was able to get, you know, posthumously, it's like the lady was bad.
That's right.
She knew what she was doing, and she had the resources, and she knew who she needed to go after.
That's right.
And that courage, and to just, she took on the big boys, and she won.
Did, and she won. And what she did, right, with his money, all she did was charitable work.
Absolutely.
Her passion was the Tupac.
And isn't there like the art center here?
I was just getting ready to go into that. Like, her contribution to Pac's legacy is the Tupac Shakur Center for the Arts in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And this is a place that she opened up in 2005 with her own money. She bought the land. She spent a great deal of money on the land. She didn't ask the government or the state for any help. She spent her own money and proceeds from Tupac's albums. And she decorated the place, upgraded, made it beautiful, made a huge, beautiful peach garden. And that place was a haven for young people to learn skills in the arts. And she did such a great job with that center that we actually have alumni students who went on to become artists in their own right. You know, and she did that with just her money. She didn't have to do that. She could have went to some island and lived like if she wanted to, and nobody would have been mad with her.
Done nothing.
Nobody could have said it, but no, she wanted to. Her passion was working with children and helping children. And she contributed so much to that community, and I'm so proud to have been a part of that. Because now that becomes part of my legacy, that I was able to help children achieve goals and dreams that they know otherwise would not be able to do. And that's huge.
It is.
To be a part of. And, you know, who don't want to assist in that? And because of her, I was able to help, along with other people who are as grateful as I am. So, Afeni, I love you. Shout out to you. We miss you. And God bless you. And, you know, I think about you every day, and we miss you so much. You know, it's hard to believe that, you know, you're not here, because I thought you was going to live to your 90s, and I was going to live to my 70s, and you still would be cursing my ass out every time you got ready, you know? But I still hear your voice in my head every day, and, you know, I just love you, man. Your sister, she misses you, man. I mean, your impact, man, is just everlasting, and we're never, ever, ever going to be the same. We're just going to be strong, but we'll never be the same. And God bless you, really. I love you, Afeni.
Well, Billy, you're going to live way longer than 70 because you got some stories to tell.
Word, I hope so, man. I got a lot of life to live, for real.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, I do. First, I want to shout out you for such a beautiful interview, man. I enjoyed your company. I enjoyed talking to you. And I think that you got a lot out of this interview from me that a lot of other interviewers couldn't get out of me.
Yeah.
So shout out to you for that. I want to shout out TST. I want to shout out the studio, my man Darnell Buchan, my man Cool, Ronaldo, all the brothers that's here, all the people that has anything to do with this studio. I want to shout out all the Tupac's fans. One love to you guys, man. Thanks for the support, everlasting support. We love you. God bless you. And I want to shout out my family. God bless y'all. I love you. And you guys, man, you know, have a good day, good night. Thank you again, baby.
And shout out to the Academy for that
induction. Yeah, shout out to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Barclays Arena for inducting the one and only great Tupac Shakur for his contributions to hip-hop and music alone. God bless you for that, man. You just made a monumental difference in the music world by inducting Tupac into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So God bless you too. And also all of the colleges and universities that have, you know, taken his work and turned it into classes and, you know. All the colleges, universities, Berkeley University in San Francisco, God bless you. All the other colleges and all the other academias that use Tupac's writings and music to teach in their classrooms, man. Very revolutionary move. So much more than just a rapper. Yeah, God bless y'all, man. Thank y'all. Thank anybody that has anything to do with Tupac's legacy and keeping his legacy strong. We couldn't do it without you. God bless you. And look out for your upcoming... Yeah, look out for the series, which is going to be entitled Riders, and look out for the movie, which is going to be entitled Me Against the World. And that's going to be coming to you within the next 2 years, I promise. We're working on it right now. We got to clear some legal hurdles, but I promise you, there's very powerful people working behind the scenes as we speak. And it'll be done the right way. And it'll be done the right way with nothing but honor and respect and true, true dedication to Tupac fans, because we owe Tupac fans this project. Absolutely. And we can't wait to get it out to you, but we have to do it right, and it has to be done with respect. It has to be done with honor, and it has to be something that's going to improve Tupac's legacy and add to his legacy, as opposed to taking away from his legacy and embarrassing his legacy. That's the one thing we don't want to do. So shout out to all of you guys that's supporting us and staying down for us. Like I said, go see the movie if you want to go see the movie. I'm not stopping no one. I don't want to stop no one from doing and spending their money the way they want to. But just look out for our projects that's coming out in the future. And I promise you, it's going to be worth it. I promise that. I put that on everything I love. God bless you for that. Billy, thank you for being so candid and just thank you. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you. Hope we answered a lot of your questions. Thank you, baby. And, of course, this is just the beginning. We'll be back with more. Yes. We're going to catch up with you as this process continues. We'll have to check in periodically. Yeah, please check in with me every now and then, because I'm going to have something for you, I promise. Absolutely. And, like he said, if you want to see the movie, see it. If not, that's cool, too. And look out for what he has coming up, the series and the movie, Me Against the World. And I just can't wait to see that. I think you're really going to give people what they really want to see. Nobody can tell that story like the family. I promise you. It's already written, so it's already done. Yeah. You know, so be on the lookout for it, y'all. God bless you. Peace and love. Oh, well, thank you, Billy. Thank you, Sytonia. On behalf of the TST Network, you guys have a good one. I'm Sytonia. Billy, thank you. All power to the people. Yes. Signing off. Right on.